Hi everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner, and welcome back to my channel. We are kind of racing the light today, but we are going to be talking about my Kindle Unlimited books, or the Kindle Unlimited update for the first quarter of the year. Now, full confession, it is barely even halfway through March when I'm filming this, but I have a couple of really busy weekends coming up and I need to get some things filmed, so we are batch filming and getting through some of this sort of stuff. And I don't know how much more I'm going to get through my KU TBR before the end of the month anyways, so this seemed like a good enough time to film it. So we're going to change it up a little bit this year because I'm actually keeping closer track of my Kindle Unlimited reads, just out of interest, just to see how much I'm using the service and how, or whether I'm actually utilizing the cost of the service, because it is a monthly subscription service, versus what I'm reading. I think I mentioned in my February reset that January was a really great month in terms of reading Kindle Unlimited titles. Like, I utilized it heaps and that was great. So we're going to start off with some stats. So from January until now, I have read 26 books on Kindle Unlimited. The total cost of the books that I read on Kindle Unlimited in that time period was $174.40. So like if you take the actual cost to purchase the ebook, that's what it adds up to. And then minus my subscription cost, I think it works out to be around $124.43. I think that I've actually saved. So for me, a Kindle Unlimited subscription is $13.99 a month. Please don't worry about my maths if it's wrong, because I did the maths late at night and who knows. But essentially it's around $125-ish that I've saved in reading these books through the Kindle Unlimited service, which is pretty good when you think about it. So we're going to go through all of the books that I have read. I will tell you a very brief thing about it if I can remember it, and then we'll go through what I currently have out on my KU TBR. Over the last couple of months, I have read the following books: The Great Race, The Story of the Chinese Zodiac by Ling and Eric Lee. This was one of the books that I read for a recommendation video for my kids channel, where I was reading Lunar New Year titles. I also read Our Lunar New Year. This one was by Yobe Q, and also Chinese New Year Wishes by Jillian Lin. So what I really want to do this year is also make use of the kids titles on Kindle Unlimited, particularly if I'm looking at thematic kind of content for my kids channel, which I don't utilize it for that very often, or I haven't in the past, so I want to get better at that this year. I also read SpecOps by Craig Alanson. This is a sci-fi space opera story. This is an ongoing series. This is book 2. There's a lot of books in this series and I just need to get a move on in reading them. I read 2 C.W. Farnsworth books. So there were 6 Summers to Fall, which I read for my summer reading vlog, my summer thematic vlog, and also Famous Last Words, which was that a hockey one? Can't remember. It's been a while. I have been really enjoying sort of exploring C.W. Farnsworth's writing style. Her books are very easy reads. I read Freedom is a Constant Struggle. This one was for the book club discussion over on Jess Owens' channel, and was a really interesting read for me. I had seen this book around quite a bit. It's a series of talks and essays and letters that Angela has written over time, and I had been meaning to pick it up, and this just gave me the perfect opportunity because it was on KU. I read The Refiner by Kristy Marie, which is the second book in the In the Hands of the Potters series. There's a lot of ins and the in that statement. Anyway, this is a series that follows a group of brothers who are doctors. This one was a secret baby / single parent story, but the secret baby is not the child between the female and main characters of the story, so that made for an interesting twist on that dynamic. I read Unwanted and Unloved by Marley Valentine. These are books 1 and 2 in a series that follow a group of friends who went through the foster care system, and it is them finding their romances. The sun has decided to come out, so let's make this snappy. There is Only for the Week by Natasha Bishop, which I read for the Best Books of 2024 reading vlog, where I read books that my friends really loved. This was a contemporary black love romance. Thoroughly enjoyed this one. This one was excellent. There was also Last Light by Claire Kent, which I read for the same vlog. This was one of Heather's best books, and it is a dystopian romance at the end of the world. Also highly excellent. I read The Bastard in the Air by Saxon, James and Eden Finley. This was their most recent release at the start of the year. This is a contemporary romance. I read Stranded with an Alien Vampire by Michele Mills. This was a sci-fi romance novella, very short, very easy to read. Michele Mills, I'm realizing, I've read a couple of books by her now, just a very readable author. So a great option if you want space vampires. I read Face Off by Teagan Hunter, her newest book in the Seattle Serpents series. This one was excellent. I really enjoyed this one. It was great. And clearly I have not read enough hockey romance this year. Like, I need to up my game. I read Witchblood by L.L. Frost. This is the second full-length novella in the Demonic Messes and Other Annoyances series. I'm thoroughly enjoying this series, and I kind of just want to drop everything and just marathon read the series, which may be a possibility sometime in the near future. Just putting it out there. I read Scoreless Game by Zabo and LA Witt. This brought me up to date with that current series. It is an hockey romance series. Scoreless Game is a friends to lovers story with a fantastic ace main character. and I really loved the exploration of his romance. There were certain things in the story that I didn't love, not my favourite things in romances, catfishing, but the rest of it was just fantastic. Lighting adjustment. Now I'll be able to see because I was getting blinded by the glare. I read Chances by Lee Jacquot. This is the first book in a superhero reimagining dark romance series. I had a great time with this one. It followed a character who is very much like Harvey Dent from the Batverse. And then I read the 6 books in the Amazon original romance novella series, The Improbable Meet Cute. So there was The Exception to the Rule by Christina Lauren, The Worst Wingman Ever by Abby Jiminez, Rosie and the Dreamboat by Sally Thorne, which was my favourite of the series, Drop, Cover and Hold On by Jasmine Gilroy, With Any Luck by Ashley Poston, and Royal Valentine by Soraya Wilson. And those are all the books that I have read between January and now from Kindle Unlimited. So what do I currently have out? This is my exciting list. I'm actually going from oldest book to most recently added to the TBR. So the oldest book currently out is Make Me Stay by Annabeth Albert. This is part of her most recent series. And this one takes place in a small town. They are MM romances. And there is a thread of a mystery, I think, that's running through all 3 books, which I want to get back to this one because I am behind. The trilogy is actually complete. So I'm behind because this is book 2. There is Fury by Anna Hackett, which is the first book in a new series that started last year and I have not read it yet. I don't know why. Her books, like, they don't take me long to read at all. They are so readable and just fun and wacky. Like, this is a romantic suspense. I'm going to be all here for that. There is Puppuccino by Alanson Temple, which is Bold Brew book 2. I've read a couple of books in the series, so I'm just trying to go through and read the rest of them. I think this is an MM romance. There is Morbidly Yours by Ivy Fairbanks, which is actually one of the books that I think I rolled for Roll of Reads this month, so I should hopefully get to it fairly soon. I have heard mixed things about it though, so I'm kind of curious to see where I fall. I have the Texting series by Teagan Hunter. I actually have a box set of this out. I've read book 1. I would like to read the other 3 books. They shouldn't take me very long. They're not long stories at all. And it's Teagan Hunter. She's entirely readable. They are contemporary romances that involve texting as part of the romance plot. There is Monster Pucker by Cleo Evans and Ashley Bennett. I am supposed to be reading this with Izzy and Shay at some point. We still have not discussed when this is supposed to happen. It will happen at some point. I have Kicking It with a Winger by T.L. Hamilton now. I've got to remember when this video is going up. I need to read this before this video goes up because I'm meeting the author before this video goes up. She's an Australian author. It is a hockey romance. I just want to give it a shot. I have The Fake Out by Stephanie Archer. Again, this is a hockey romance. I DNF'd the first book in this series. Oh, hang on. Is this... Oh no. Is Behind the Net part of this series? I can't remember. If it is, I DNF'd that. I didn't enjoy it, but I really like this cover and I'm a sucker for a good cover. So hopefully this book is an improvement on the last one. I know. I am the outlier in that because everyone seems to recommend Behind the Net. I did not like it. I have Ranger by Dr. Rebecca Sharp, and I can't remember why I have this one out. It is probably romantic suspense, so I guess we'll find out. I have Center Ice by Julia Connors, again, hockey romance, that's all I know about it. I have All I've Wanted, All I've Needed by A.E. Valdez, and someone recommended this, possibly Heather, I don't know, someone recommended it, and I went, that sounds interesting, I'm going to pop it on the list, but do I remember why? No! Why would that be the case? The cover is gorgeous. I absolutely adore the cover of this book. It's stunning. I have Love, Ace and Monsters, which is an anthology. I have Haven by Claire Kent, which is the next book sort of that follows on from Last Light. I would like to read this series. Heather has raved about it so far and I'm excited to get back into it. I have 10 Past 2 by Solita Constance. I've heard that the disability rep in this is pretty good, so I'm eager to give it a shot. I have Fox God by L.L. Frost, which is the 3rd book in the Demonic Messes and Other Annoyances series, unless I've totally mixed up the order and it's 4, but I think it's 3. I have Luca by Nissa Catherine. I have been meaning to come back to Nissa Catherine's work because I read one book by her maybe 2 years ago. She's an Australian author who writes romantic suspense. I would like to continue and get back into her back catalogue a little bit and sort of see where everything fits. I have Alcott Hall by Emily Rath out. This is because I am reading it for the Roll of Reads readathon. It's also one of the books that I have to read to finish a series this year. So I would like to get to that sooner rather than later, but it's over 500 pages long. It's a historical romance, but it's Emily Rath, so that's okay. I have The Revenge Agenda by Saxon James. This is the 3rd book in a series that had The Husband Hoax and I've forgotten what the other one was called. Can't see it. Anyway, I've been enjoying the series. They are all MM romances about flatmates or roommates in a shared house who are finding their romances. And it's been really sweet and fun and funny so far. I also have Magpies and Mayhems by Elsie Winters, which should make Heather and Robin really happy. This is a urban fantasy paranormal romance story. There's elements that are set in our world that has magical creatures, and also there is like a fae world that kind of sits side by side with our world. So I'm intrigued. I enjoyed the 1st book. And I did add one more book last night. while I was in bed. Let's see if I can figure out what the book is. Off Season by Jodie Oliver, which is the second book in her hockey romance series, The Chicago Thunder. So I read the first book when it came out last year. Really enjoyed it. Hockey romance. I'm curious to see how she goes with her second book. And that, my friends, is my Kindle Unlimited update. In the comments, I would love to know if you've read any of these books or if you're planning on picking any of them up, or if there's something on my future reading list that you would like me to pick up sooner rather than later. Feel free to let me know down below. Otherwise, feel free to leave me a phone emoji down below for the texting series. I hope that wherever you're in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, everyone.